Project my son's been working on is to get the ramps here for getting down. And we made one of these originally for moving in so we could get the dollies up and down. But what happened with this one, it was good when it started here, but what you'll see is when you have a surface like this and it gets wet, even though this is all treated wood, the top part dries before the bottom and begins to contract and make a bow. So we're going to change the design. I was going to just put bracing in, but since we were able to get new boards, we'll block the entire top, which we'll try to do that for both of them. Now this one, we ran the plywood the other way. I didn't know that there was dimension or directions on this, so this wasn't strong enough. If you step on that, it begins to bow, whereas this one, you can see that top grain goes across and it is stronger. But for both of them, we put bracing across there and it should work fine. So this is my son's project today. We're going to, as I said, reconfigure this a little bit. We got new treated 2x8s. The prices are beginning to come down a little bit. It was about $15 currently. And so what we're going to do is get this cut shorter and go ahead and put a brace along the whole way. And for both of these, that'll strengthen it up. This is the one that's with the grain going this way so that it's not firm. So that'll work for this one and our other one that's bowed. What we want to do is be able to put this brace back up the way it was. So what you want to do is mark it so that you know what goes with what. So this is A, B, B, C, and C. And that way we'll know which direction it is, and we'll do D, E, F on the other ones and then get them all cut. So what you're trying to do here is put a stopper at the exact distance of 1.5 inches. And then we can do all 6 of these at once. So we have that, well, it's not a rim truss, but it'll be on the end, right, for all of them. So it's always good to do a jig to make it look good. Okay, so we got one done. And with that stopper there, we're able to go to the next one. And go ahead. Okay, great. And then the next 4 are the same way, and they'll all be exactly the same distance. Okay, so now we're going to cut this cross member here. And so we're going to measure just on the edge where we're going to put it. And on both of them, it's exactly 35.5. We did it with the table saw. Okay, so now we need to have this extended out at 35.5. So how do we get enough room? This is only 20 inches. Well, this is a Ryobi miter saw gauge, so a lot of them work the same way. And you have the adjustments on this, so you can pull this out as far as you need to, and then you can adjust this up so it's flush here, like that. And this can go up too, but we don't need that. So what you do is you lay a board across here, get that adjusted so it's nice, tight, put it on, and then you have the extension. This can go way out, and so this will be able to cover you. So you get exactly 35.5. Okay, so we measured, actually we couldn't find our angle finder, so we measured using our speed square, and reminded us that that's a 10-degree angle. And so we set a 10-degree angle here on the front of our DeWalt portable table saw and have this lined up to trim that down. So we're going to do this to these two end boards that here, and then we'll be able to get those screwed in, and that'll go a long way to keep these firm and stable. So here we go. Push tool. I have a little nicer one, and I was saying we want to use a push tool. I have a nicer push tool inside the house, but this will work for us for now. You may already know, of course, you want to keep pushing that board through, not just wait till it gets cut. And of course, that's one of the reasons we want to use this push tool for that. You may be asking yourself, well, now why is he cutting wet lumber, and why would you even have wet lumber? Well, you may or may not know, the lumber is often wet here when it's the pressure treated lumber. They keep that outside in the big box stores, and so it's really not an issue cutting treated wood like this. Now make sure you have your push tool. You want to make sure your hands are far away from the blade. Okay. Now make sure that it's that your wood is nice and tight against there, and you're all set to go before you turn on the Okay, yes, you did a fine job. Of course, as I said, you need to follow through, make sure the wood's the whole way through, but that was a very good job. Okay, so our last step now is to trim that down or rip that board to the proper height here. So what we'll do is we'll flip that over and measure the long side there, and get it to that width here on with the rip fence, and then we'll rip it the other direction. So we got that to do with these two ramps. Okay, so now we got to measure that height there. So go ahead, son, and measure the height from the concrete floor to that corner. Okay, that'll work. What you got? Now you have it crooked. Make sure it's straight up and down. Get down there so you can get the height exactly. Get yourself down close to the...
Looks like 7.5.
Has to be exact.
7, a little over 7.
So it's a 7 strong or 7 shy?
7 strong.
You can also say proud. It's about a 1/16 of an inch over. Let's try that. Okay, so we're doing 7 3/16 we found by looking at it. Remember to use the tine that's pointed that way. You're all sure it's shut off and everything, right? Okay, so go ahead and check it. 7 3/16. That's 3 little marks. Get it close.
Is that it?
You got it right to the tine? You don't have the tine sticking out. There's the tine. And if you look at it, it's almost 3/8. 3/16 is 3 ticks. Keep going.
Yeah.
That's it right there. Okay? Lock it in. Lock it in over here. Lock it in. There you go. Okay? Now we can get them cut. So now he's got his boards there. Make sure that the beveled edge is against the rip fence, because that's the height that we need. And make sure you're tight against the rip fence. Remember this time to follow through. Okay. You got your push tool, so that's good. Don't bother with the push tool way back there. You can push the board just fine. It's just near the blade or in front of the blade. You can't have your hands. That's when you need the push tool. Okay, keep going with the next one.
Yeah, one my eye.
Okay, get it out. Go on with the next one.
Remember,
Keep going.
kids, if you get bit
Make
by
sure
a
the
snake,
the bevel's edged by the rip fence. Very good.
you get bit by a snake, get bit by another one. It might be the antidote.
Okay. Okay, and of course you saw very little got trimmed at all, and that's what we expected because we started with almost a full board. So good job.
Paper.
So now let's dry fit this. You want to go grab one of these boards here and bring it over and just fit it underneath. Make sure you got the bevel going the direction that you expect. All right, and put it in there flush. Keep going. I don't think that's doing it.
Oh, I did it. I'm good.
Okay, get it on the other side. Okay, that looks like it's going to work, right? Okay, I think we'll do it another way here, but we're going to do that. Now, what kind of screws do you need to have for this?
The silver ones.
Silver ones. Well, no. What length?
I forgot.
Okay, how long is the, or how wide is the
Believe it was
2x?
Yeah, I believe it was 1.5 inches.
It's 1.5 inches. That's
Yes!
good. That's very good. And how far do you need to be into the media with your screw normally?
1 inch.
1 inch. Very good. Okay, so 1.5 inches plus 1 inch
Which is 1.5 inches.
plus 1 inch is how much?
It's 2.5.
2.5 inches. So we're going to get a 2.5 inch deck screw, and we'll get these done. Okay, so now we've got it flipped upside down. We think that's going to be a better approach to getting these in and tight. So he's got this, getting his screws together now. And he's got the impact driver. Okay. Now what I'd recommend normally is to start from the bottom so that you don't get the bottom pinched open. You should see that. You're going to be able to draw it tight there. Yeah, it looks like it still will be tight. So. Okay, now let's get the other side and then the middle. Okay, well, that'll work too. you're doing a good job there, son. Now you'll notice that it's easier to drive through wet wood. We have another benefit now that the plywood is wet. Good job. It evened out and was able to bend it straight. Now with that done like that, it's more likely to stay straight with that brace on. Very good. Looks like he's going to put one more screw in the middle. Okay, so he's got the final one in there, and that's good. Now what happened here, he's going to pick it up there. So what you can see here is that his initial drive went too close to the edge and actually got very close to puncturing the the wood here, so he had to move it over. Now if he would have made a line at 3/8 of an inch, he would have had a better chance to do that, but he's also learning how to eyeball things, so that's great. So now he'll work on the other one, and that'll be done for today. His last job is, well, he's got to paint the thing, and then we have 2 handles to put on there, and then he'll be done. Okay, so what we found here is that this was bent away, which is not so uncommon with the wood that you get here, but it's wet and it should be adjustable. So we're going to get this tied in so this is straight here, and that's pushed against there, and we'll get it done here. Probably could have used one more clamp that direction. There's this one. Now pull this up. And send them all home. And that's it. So now Greenhorn is coming along. He's got 1 5/8" screws. I'd originally said 1 1/4", but remember it should go in 1 inch into the other media, and the plywood's a 1/2 inch. So 1 1/2" is too much for 1 1/4" screw. So 1 5/8" is the closest for these deck screws. So he's going to run a length of those across the that board across the back, that bracing board, and then one also at the end of the previous sideboards here that he had, because those screws that were in the corner, of course, no longer go to those, so we want to get that tight the whole way along. Okay, so the ones that he got were these star one, but they're zinc coated, and the zinc coated won't work for outdoors. We want to have these powder coated ones here that will work well for the outdoors. So he'll go and get the other 1 5/8" that we have. He's ready to put those in. Along the side, he had them measured and done about every 4 inches, or exactly 4 inches. So hopefully he'll get that about the same here as it goes across the top. And he's getting the one at the top edge. Yeah, and make sure it's the whole way in. That's proud. It's sitting out. You want to get it the whole way in. That's good. One in the middle. That's good. So we don't have a binding at one edge. Okay. All right, with the other one. Okay, make sure it's flush. And then at the end, okay, and the other one. And so then he'll intersperse them. He'll intersperse those there. You can get that tight the whole way along. Very good.